heads, title chiefs, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to Okpata Kingdom. Today is a great day for Okpata people. It's a day to be remembered for many reasons. Like the MC rightly said, for health reasons and to respect the protocols from COVID-19, this year's ceremony has to be scaled down to a press conference. So we have extended invitation to you, our very dear friends, who have all this while partnered to grow the Okpata Kingdom. So today, we shall be setting a new agenda for stronger partnership between the media houses and the Okpata people. So once again, I welcome you and pray that God leads you back to your various destinations safely. You may not need to read what is there. If I choose to read everything, we may end up spending hours here. So we'll just take the issues and we'll give general briefs on our activities in Okpata Kingdom. I was elected to the throne of Okpata people on 26th of August 2017. That was 5 years after the passage on to glory of our late father, Eze Sisi Muchu. And on the 16th September, I ascended the throne after going through the traditional rites and official ceremonies. At the coronation, the stool of Okpata was upgraded to first class by His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Chief Jason Ezewawude, CEO. And that singular pronouncement by His Excellency placed Okpata stool as the most senior stool after that of Desert Belogo in Efeala. And since then, we have weathered the storm, and we are proud to say that a lot of successes have been recorded in spite of few challenges that are systemic in nature. Of course, in a system like ours, you will not expect that there wouldn't be any challenge. We've had few challenges, but on each of those occasions, we have risen above the challenges by deploying critical thinking and strategic initiatives. And so far, Okpata is moving forward. For certain individuals who started with us and today they are backslided, it is not strange. Most people find it difficult to accept change, but for us, change has come to stay. I told my people when I indicated interest to contest for the stool of Eze Okpata that I would come in to transform the system. I never pretended about transformation from day one. And so whatever transformation that is taking place in the traditional council in Okpata and Epe, there are things I promised the people that I will do. And in reforming the traditional institution, which I felt has been the major problem in Epe land, we are convinced that a drastic reform, as we are carrying out, will reposition Epe for greatness. And so we do not, at any time, feel we are doing anything wrong by carrying out such drastic reforms. And of course, for those who have stepped their toes out, we have stepped on them, and we have no apologies to such persons. And anybody who stands on the way of progress will be pushed down, because Epe is bigger than any individual. And so, the transformation of the Okpata Kingdom between then and now has touched different facets, including human capital development, infrastructure development, direct foreign investment in Okpata land, the Okpata One Youth One Skill program, and a whole lot of others that I will enumerate because of our discussion. At my installation on the 16th September 2017, I made a promise to His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, that Olekata will be reconstructed and they will return home. When I took over the position as Ezigbo Okpata III, Olekata was deserted because of communal crisis. There was no living soul in that community. As a matter of fact, the community was already a forest. We set up a reconciliation committee to reconcile the warring factions. And as I speak today, Olekata people are back to their homes. We have equally resolved all chieftaincy disputes in Okpata Kingdom. At the time I took over as the king of Okpata Kingdom, virtually all communities in Okpata have two village heads. One loyal to Eze Robinson and one loyal to our late father Eze Muchi. That was how the Okpata society was fractured. But today, Okpata is one united kingdom, and we are forging ahead. In the course of our reform too, we decided that to allow the world to understand the new direction of Okpata Kingdom, that it was necessary for our late father, His Royal Majesty, late Eze Robinson Robinson, the Ezekwe II, CON, to make a clear statement regarding the creation of Oloko and Okanola within the Okpata Kingdom. And indeed, late Eze Robinson clearly stated in his palace at Olereke at the Epe House, at Olekata, when we flagged off the return of the Olekata people, and even here when we did the foundation laying, that Okanola and Oloko has been dissolved. These two entities were created to fight Ezemochi. And since the war was over, and I came in as a unifier, he decided to dissolve those two structures. And that is why today, Okpata is one indivisible kingdom. Beyond that, in 1827, the meeting of the Okpata people at Olopata adopted the title of Nyudu. And that was why the person who presided, our late grandfather, great-grandfather, who presided over that meeting, was addressed as Nyudu Okpata. In line with that nomenclature, The Ezigbo Pata II, Eze Sisimuchi, in 1998, submitted a proposal to the Rivers State government to change the name of the stool of Opata from Ezigbo Pata to Yudu Opata. And he created 4 clans within the Opata kingdom. Unfortunately, because of the politics at that time, these things could not be realized. So when I came in, the first thing, one of the first decisions I took was to recognize the 4-clan structure of the Opata kingdom. And subsequently, we recognized the 10 incumbents. The proposal was sent to the Rivers State government for the recognition of the structure and incumbents. Yet because of several petitions, the incumbents were not recognized because they were not validly elected. So the government insisted we should go and conduct election into those positions. Today, elections have been conducted, and we now have the Yudu Ede Opata, the Yudu Owo Opata, the Yudu Ogbako Opata, and the Yudu Owo Opata. In the course of this new structure, some of our brothers within the Ekpeye ethnic nation have criticized us that we are dividing the Ekpeye nation. And we have consistently explained that the concept of Eze is alien to Ekpeye, and particularly the Opata kingdom. Eze in Ekpeye language means a rich man. Eze does not represent the title of a king. The title of a king in Ekpeye language is Yudu, not Eze. Eze is the Igbo version of a king. Ekpeye is not an Igbo community. Opata is not under Igbo colonialism or dominance. And so there's no way the Opata kingdom will accept a title that is Igbo oriented. And so the official title for the king of Opata kingdom is Yudu Opata kingdom. We have similarly forwarded our position to His Excellency the Governor of Rivers State, and we are awaiting his approval and assent to that effect. To ensure that Opata moves in the right direction, the Opata people met and agreed to reform our existing statutes. And the first one we did was the Opata Marriage Amendment Bylaw. Before now in Opata Kingdom, you need to spend close to 1 million, 2 million just to marry our daughter. And we discovered that that was exploitative. It's not rational, and to us it's senseless. We are not selling our daughters. And so the Opata Marriage Amendment Bylaw was passed on 31st December 2018. And by the provisions of that Marriage Act, from the day you get in contact with an Opata daughter for introduction until the day we escort her to your house, the only thing you spend, including drinks and everything, is 177,000 naira. This has been reduced drastically. And in 2019, we recorded 319 marriages in Opata Kingdom. 319 Opata daughters got married in 2019 because of this decision taken by the Traditional Council. 2020, there is hardly any weekend or any other week you will not witness up to 5-10 marriages in Opata Kingdom. And so for those of you, our friends from the media that are not married, especially the men, I urge you to come to Opata Kingdom. We are very beautiful ladies that will meet your taste and standard. In line with our statutory reforms the Opata burial rights have equally been reformed. Today in the Opata Kingdom, officially, we are expected to spend only 56,000 naira to conduct a burial. To conduct burial now in the Opata Kingdom is 56,000 naira, inclusive of everything. That's entertainment, calling of the in-laws, whatever. And so, we decided too that we cannot operate without a legal framework. And so the Opata people set up a committee to look at the constitution that will guide the activities of the families, communities, and the traditional council. And so on the 30th of December 2019, the Opata Constitution was approved and signed into law. The Constitution is being operated today. On the area of human capital development, we initiated the Opata Go to School initiative. That initiative is currently ongoing. Under that platform, we have 57 students on full scholarship. 57 students on full scholarship in both university, colleges of education, polytechnics, secondary schools, and primary schools. 57 students on full scholarship. We have equally trained 137 Opata sons and daughters under the one skill policy. Presently, 7 of them are undergoing training. We scaled down the number to 7 for this year because of the economic crunch and given the number of activities we are engaging in the kingdom. We hope to enlarge the program in 2021. In 2019, we set up a committee to administer bursary to Opata students. At the end of the program, 920 Opata students in tertiary institutions were paid bursary. And we will continue with these programs based on availability of resources. Under our Peace and Security Initiative, sometime in 2018, when we discovered that the cultists and militants were regrouping in Ekpele, we approached His Excellency to demand for a leave from him to negotiate with our sons and daughters who were cultists. His Excellency gave approval to us to go into the negotiation. We crisscrossed many forests in the Ekpele land. We went to Forest Agua, Odua. We went to forest in Onelga, that's Oba Ebeba, Ndoni, local government area. We visited Rume and other places including Obakara. We visited Mile, we visited Okra, and Owerri to negotiate with our children. I believe we are all witnesses to what happened last year, 25th of June 2019, when 343 cultists surrendered and were taken to Olubie, where traditional oaths were administered on them. These cultists were equally taken to the governor of Rivers State at the government house Akwatoro, where His Excellency pronounced amnesty on them. Today, Ekpele remains the most peaceful ethnic nation in this state and in this nation. People may hear that there is one issue or the other in one community or the other. Of course, there is no society that is free from crime, but these are isolated cases. And we have set up machinery to tackle such isolated cases. And I assure you that we are free to come and do business in Epele land. Epele is safe. To further our discussion on peace and security, we have written to His Excellency the Governor of Rivers State to grant us approval for the formation of the Opata Vigilante Service. When it comes on board, they shall be in charge of the internal security of the Opata Kingdom. We hope that our brothers from other kingdoms in Epele land will accept this idea and replicate same in their various kingdoms, so that Epele entirely will be safe. We believe that if Opata is safe and Ubie, Agbo, Ibuduya, and Ahoda are not safe, the peace in Opata will be ruptured someday. So we owe it to assist our brothers in other kingdoms to ensure that peace reigns in the entire Epele land. On the issue of development in Opata land, we gave a commitment that we shall attract 10 new investments in 10 years. I have the honor to inform you that in the past 3 years, Opata Kingdom has 4 new investments that have taken root. And we have 2 more investments that have signed agreements, and I believe after this COVID-19 pandemic, they will move their equipment to site and Opata will move forward. The Opata people have actually decided that no investor will pay for land in Opata Kingdom. And so if you are an investor and you want to invest in any part of Opata Kingdom, we are willing to give you land to invest. We don't sell land to investors. And so any hitch that will block any investor, we have removed all of them. And so Opata Kingdom is investment friendly. And so I urge members of the press to send a message to the world that Opata Kingdom is peaceful and ready for investment. Of course, Opata Kingdom today has the highest deposit of gas in this country. The whole of Obele, Umeze, and all those houses are saturated with gas. And so we are looking for investors to come in and will provide 24-hour security to protect their investments. Again, to move Opata on the fast lane, the Traditional Council decided to open a new market, a market that will launch Opata to the entire Orasha region. It's a model, and we have concluded arrangements with stakeholders, with the Topif of Benue State, with the Saruki Ibi of Taraba State, with the Ochi Idoma, and other traditional rulers, to supply trailer loads of yam and fish to the Opata yam and fish market. When that market takes off, we will be expecting not less than 200 trailer loads of yam every week. And so there will be no need for any yam seller in Rivers State or Bayelsa to travel all the way to the north to go and buy yam or fish or dry fish. We just need to come to Abraham and get whatever he wants. So the plan is on by this dry season. We decide to declare and we'll start allocating plots to those that will partner with us to kickstart the market. So I urge members of the press to send this great message to the world that we are ready to start one of the largest yam and fish markets in this part of the country. And traditionally, to lessen the burden of administration on the traditional council, we decided to approach the government to grant an approval for a customary court in Idoma here. There are several land and family cases every day that comes to the council. And if members of the council will dissipate so much energy to look at some of these cases, at the end of the day, administration will suffer. And so, today, His Excellency the Governor of Rivers State has approved for the establishment of a customary court in Idoma. And the Idoma community has provided land for the customary court. The magistrate court that was here, the magistrate relocated because of the crisis. We have concluded all arrangements for the magistrate to return to the court. May I also inform you that the Inspector General of Police has approved a full-fledged police division in Idoma. That's what the building of the new police division is about 95% completed. As soon as it's completed, officers will be posted to the new division to provide security for Idoma community and the entire Opata Kingdom. Opposite the police station, the police division, is a land that has been earmarked for Guaranty Trust Bank. So as soon as the police moves in, Guaranty Trust Bank will come to Opata Kingdom to lessen the burden of our people traveling all the way to home to make cash transactions. We have equally, within the period of under review, tried to build unity amongst our people. Opata today, so far as we are concerned, and so far as reports from the communities are concerned, largely peaceful. The people are united. Communities now speak in one voice. We do this together. And we have revived all the traditional practices that were discountenanced in the past. Today, in communities in Opata Kingdom, we'll be having the masquerade dances, the Okukele, the Owu, the folklore, the Uruboko, and a whole lot of others. We have revived all these cultural practices. Not for the COVID-19 this year, we will have set up a committee to midwife the Opata Cultural Festival. Opata will have a cultural festival, a kind of carnival in Opata Kingdom. And this carnival shall be named Eze Williams Onogoji Cultural Carnival. For members of the press who do not know Eze Williams Onogoji, he was the Eze Ibubaka the first. We will honor him immediately in page 2. You are all aware that in 2018 we inaugurated the first Eze Muchi Memorial Lecture in honor of Eze Ibubaka II, Eze Sisi Muchi. The topic for the first lecture was leadership development beyond ethnicity and capacities. The lecture was delivered by no other person, Professor Ndoma Wale, former Vice Chancellor of University of Port Harcourt. Last year, we had a second memorial lecture entitled The Future of Oil and the Oil of the Future, Connecting the Nexus. The intent of the second memorial lecture was to move Opata away from dependence on oil. As a kingdom, we launched a one towards policy because of our experiences of Malaysia, of Singapore, of China, Taiwan, Canada, and other countries that depended on skills development to grow their economy. Unfortunately, in our land in Nigeria, we are depending on government every day for handouts. And so the Opata Kingdom is taking the lead to provide skills training and development to our young people. With this skills training and development, they will not need to go and beg government for any job. We will create jobs in the Opata Kingdom. The average Opata son or daughter will be self-reliant. And so, it is our desire that very soon the program will be expanded and Opata Kingdom will be great. And so this year, the memorial lecture, the third memorial lecture will not hold. We are shifting it for next year because of the situation of the country at this moment. And again, we are equally commissioning a committee to write the biography of our late father, Eze Sisi Muche. The biography will be uploaded to the public next year. In the area of infrastructure development, we promised the Opata people to build a befitting palace that will, when you come in there, you will understand that indeed we are an Opata Kingdom. We told our people that no king earns respect while ruling from his own house. It's abnormal. You cannot go to the north of this country and see any king ruling from his personal house. And so, we have decided to set the tone for the institutionalization of traditional kingship in Rivers State by building a modern palace for the Opata. By the end of this briefing, we shall take a visit to the structure for you to see what we have on ground. You will then imagine that this project is entirely driven by the Opata communities. It is not government funded. The project is driven by the Opata communities. And we hope to invite you here once again before December 31st for the commissioning of this palace. Distinguished members of the press, during the year under review, I have worked with very sound gentlemen on assumption to the throne of the Opata people. We made several commitments, but as we moved on, we equally synergized with several institutions, including the United Nations Institute for Training and Research, the Industrial Training Fund, the other NGOs and national agencies. The intention is to utilize the services provided by these agencies and institutions to better the lives of the Opata people. In that direction, our relationship with the Nigerian police paid off as the police headquarters approved the siting of the regional police clinic in Edogan here. The clinic, as you go out, we are housing them here at the Civic Center because we are concluding arrangements to tidy up their permanent site. As soon as the permanent site is ready, they will move to the permanent site. But the police clinic has come to Edogan to stay and is accessible to all members of the public. Like I said before, I delved into the issue of the police clinic. I had the rare opportunity to make few appointments when I came on board. I appointed some personal staff to assist in the task to reshaping and rebuilding Ekpata Kingdom. And within the period under review, some of them have distinguished themselves. And accordingly, for those who have worked hard, they will be rewarded. And in that light, I called on Comrade Riago, my essay on media, to come forward. Comrade Riago is today a house owner. I have donated to you funds. I think this is the one of the donation. Chief Festus Emmanuel, my essay on public affairs. You see here? Okay, you have permission. Festus Emmanuel is a proud owner of a one-bedroom flat. Honorable Nubewoli Alabi, you are from today owner of a one-bedroom flat. Ladies and gentlemen, the flats are ready for occupation and located at Udeokumu layout. In line with our decision to reinvent and strategize our operations for effectiveness, I wish to thank members of the palace staff who have given in their best for these past 3 years. I commend you for your commitment, dedication, and loyalty. As a matter of fact, in my opening speech, I made it very clear that we have come to transform the system. And in transforming the system, a lot of changes will always take place. To that extent, I dissolve all appointments in the palace. All appointments in the palace have been dissolved. And I urge you to submit your identity cards so that adequate severance benefits will be paid to you. Accordingly, I make the following appointments which takes immediate effect. Mr. Mondo Riago is reappointed SA Media and Publicity. Mr. Honorable Alabi Lewo is reappointed SA New Media. Mr. Godwin Etebalike is appointed Personal Assistant. All these appointments take immediate effect. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we wouldn't have succeeded thus far without the support we have enjoyed from His Excellency the Governor of Rivers State, Chief Justice of Ezewoloke, and members of the Akure Traditional Council. Sometime August last year, August 22nd, the Akure people, in their wisdom, asked me to take over the regency of the Akure land. And from then till date, we are holding on to that position. And we hope that as soon as we conclude all the traditional rites that are meant to be observed for our late father, His Robinson Robinson, a proper election will be conducted to produce the insect melomo, the top. And so for those that have the penchant of going to court to challenge the Regency, of course, the court has ruled that the Regency stands. They have only gone to court to tell the court to restrict me and the Ekpeye people from conducting any election for the tune of Insect melomo. I wonder how a reasonable Ekpeye man will go to court to tell the court to stop the conduct of an election to bring in Insect melomo. That shows the level of stupidity some people are brought to me. We need to have juvenile delinquency. Today, we are witnessing adult delinquency. May I say clearly that the Ekpeye people have given a mandate to lead the Ekpeye until the proper election is conducted. And to this extent, I will not shirk my responsibility by overlooking anybody that will do anything that will threaten the peace of the Ekpeye land. I'm using this opportunity to stand very clear that those who feel they are troublemakers, they should prepare. We are ready to face them. We have sent clear message to our sons and daughters that cultism has no place in the Ekpeye land. Militancy has no place in the Ekpeye land. And for those who insist on being cultists, we will assist them to go to the great land. After all, Nigeria is overpopulated. And so if we reduce the population, it will help the country so that the resources will be adequate for those that will be alive. And so I urge those who are still bent on being criminal to repent. Our hands are open to welcome all prodigal sons and daughters of Opata Kingdom and the Ekpeye nation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I also use this opportunity to inform you that the Opata 2020 festival will hold as follows. That's the Ekpeye festival, the Opata version, will hold as follows. On the 26th, Saturday 26th of September, will be the general folklore night at Olopata. Saturday 26th September, general folklore night. Wednesday 30th September, community folklore night. And the festival proper will be on 2nd October 2020. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my able opponents, Your Highnesses, the President General of the Federal Assembly, the Attorney General of the Party, the Chairman of the Council of Traditional Rulers and Chiefs. I could see my brothers, Eze Kipo, Eze Rusia. I can see the Secretary General of the Ekpeye Traditional Council, Eze Chibobrim. The regents of Ogoniland, you are welcome, and members of your council, title chiefs, committee leaders here, gentlemen of the press, I thank you for